That's when we're gonna fly. Go, 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 oh, shout it out loud. In the summer sun, we're a summer loving crowd. Talking Brazil ball, we're breaking it down.
Hello there, and welcome to Talking Brazil Ball. It's a live special here, first time we've ever gone live, and it's me by myself. At the moment, we may have a special guest appearance from Mr. James Brook. Let's wait and see. But it is the final day of the Brasileirão Serie A season. So I thought I'd just jump on and give you guys a special edition Talking Brazil Ball special. So let's see how it goes. Anybody wanting to join, we're live now on YouTube as of now. It'll go on, I think, back on a playback if you want to play it back on YouTube. May even put it on the Spotify account as well if you want to listen back to me rambling on for maybe close to 2 hours, but let's wait and see. Obviously, the games kick off at 7 p.m. There's 12 minutes to go now before kickoff. So what I thought I'd do is go through all the first and off the table, and then I thought I'm going to go through the lineups for the games. So yeah, so join in if you want to in the comments and give me your thoughts or whatever. So buckle up and let's see how it goes. So we're going to first off look at the table then, and then I'll run through the lineups quickly. Anybody who's seen a sort of Soccer Saturday, with Jeff Stelling, it's a similar sort of thing, this, but I suppose I'm doing it by myself. So yeah, join in if you want to, and let's wait and see. So the table then, as it stands, going into the last game of the season. Then Botafogo are top of the table. Second is Palmeiras. Third is Flamengo. Fourth, Internacional. Fifth, Fortaleza. Sixth, Sao Paulo. Seventh is Corinthians. Eighth, Bahia. Ninth, Cruzeiro. 10th is Vasco da Gama. 11th is Vitória. 12th is Grêmio. 13th, Juventude. 14th, Galo. 15th, Fluminense. 16th, Atletico Paranaense. Relegation zone, as it stands, is RB Bragantino in 17th, and then already relegated, of course, 18th position, Criciúma. 19th is GO, and 20th position is Cuiabá. So obviously, the last three of them already relegated. We're going for one relegation spot still to be filled, and that is going to be fought out between RB Bragantino, Atletico Paranaense, Fluminense, and my club, Galo, of course. You might see tears on the stream later on. Who knows? Let's wait and see. Anyway, so yeah, let's run through the fixtures then. Obviously, looking like at the top, that Galo, Galo, I wish, that Botafogo are looking like they're going to, on the brink, aren't they, basically, of winning the league. So we'll just have to wait and see if that comes to fruit in the next couple of hours. But yeah, let's wait and see what happens. But the fixtures tonight then, kicking off in 10 minutes time, everybody, 10 minutes time before we get underway tonight. So Galo against PR, massive game, like I said, amongst the two of the four teams battling out for that, to avoid that final relegation position. And then we've also got Bahia at home to already relegated Atletico GO. Botafogo, like we said, on the verge now of winning the title. Just need a point, don't they, I think, to win the title. And at home to Sao Paulo, could be a party atmosphere in that certain part of Rio de Janeiro. So let's wait and see how things pan out. Cuiabá are at home against Vasco, and their miserable campaign with a home match against Vasco. Flamengo against Vitória. It's a straight shootout for fourth position between Fortaleza and Internacional. Internacional currently hold that position A draw, I think, would see them, see them into fourth. Obviously, a defeat and Fortaleza take it. So that's another interesting one to keep an eye on tonight as well. Gremio are at home to Corinthians. Juventude home to Cruzeiro. Palmeiras, that slim chance of still winning the Brasileirão this season. They are at home to relegation-threatened Fluminense, who, come the end of proceedings, could be relegated. So let's wait and see. And then there's another important game at the bottom. Already relegated, Criciúma, of course, they're already sealed. Their fate already sealed for Serie B next year. But they play host. They travel to, should I say? They're the away team. They travel to RB Bragantino, who they have to win. They have to win. RB Bragantino have to win. Hello, Ryan. How are you, mate? You're all right? How are you doing? Nice to see you tonight. So I'm just doing the live broadcast, like I said, but nobody was watching. But just going to run through, going to keep an eye on all the final day results basically tonight. So just going to run through it all and keep you posted with how the table's looking at certain points. When the goals go in, basically, we'll keep everybody up to date with what's happening. So we're looking at the starting 11s then just before the games kick off, or while the games kick off as well. It doesn't have to be on the dot 7 o'clock, does it? So let's wait and see. So we're starting then the starting 11s for Galo and the Galo and PR game. So we've got Everson in goal for Galo, back three of Savarina, Bataligia and Alonso. Then we've got a four in midfield of Scrapper, Franco, Vera and Ariana. And then a front three of Hulk, the mighty Hulk. Yeah, maybe he gets angry tonight and wins the game for Galo. Let's wait and see. We've got Davison as the central striker and Rubens on the left-hand side, I think, or the right-hand side. Then we have the Atletico Paranense team. Massive game for them also as well. We've got Michael in goal. We've given him Young Player of the Round last time. He had an exceptional good round. He's been playing very well of late. He's in goal. We've got a back four of Esquivel, Heleno, Belize, who got a goal in the last game, getting very close to getting our Young Player of the Round award. We've got Godoy on at right back, a midfield three of Filipino, Fernandinho, of course, Man City, ex-Man City, decorated player, of course, in the middle of the park for PR. Eric is the other centre mid. Then we've got a front three of Coelho, Pablo, and Canobio, who, like I think James said recently, Canobio may be on his way to Cruzeiro, could very well be his last game for PR. So let's wait and see what happens. Ryan, you're going to binge a few pods, are you, today? You're going to binge a few pods today. What do I think to Botafogo's World Cup? Yeah, it's difficult, isn't it? We were talking about it on the pod a couple of days ago. Was it Friday we did it? And I can't remember off the top of my head now who's in it. I think PSG, is it? And Atletico Madrid. I can't remember the other one, but it's definitely looking a very, very difficult group for them. And I know John Texera has been speaking, hasn't he, this week last week about, they can challenge with European sides. Well, this is a good chance for them to show. Yeah, thank you, Ryan. Yes, Seattle, PSG, Atletico, Madrid. So, yeah, it is a really tough group for them. But like I said, John Textor has been speaking, and he reckons that they can go toe-to-toe with some European sides. So let's wait and see what happens. And it'll be interesting to see how how they get on, won't it? When it all comes down to it. Anyway, we're looking through the starting 11s here. So we go then next with Bahia and against G.O.S. in goal. For Bahia, the lineup 3-4-1-2 by the look of it. Fernandez in goal, a back three of Xavier, Canu and Luciano. Four in midfield, Junior, Lucas, Alexandre and Santos. Ribeiro in the 10 position, and then you've got Taquino and James's favourite man, Luciano Rodriguez, up top as a front two. Gio already relegated, of course, just playing out the motions. Looks like they're going with the 4-2-3-1. Ronaldo in goal, a back four of Romeo, Vinicius, Martins, and Maguino. The two in midfield, Ronnie and Freitas. And then three of Teixeira, who had a decent game, I think, in their win over Fortaleza. Norberto and Shaylon, who we have spoken about on the pod before. And then up top, lone striker, Derek. So let's wait and see. Bit of a dud game, that one, isn't it? Not that much riding on it, although Bahia will want to secure that final Libertadores place. Obviously, it has been extended to the 8 teams now who get Libertadores. So on to Botafogo then. That's the first of the real ones we're looking at tonight. They're lining up with a 4-2-3-1. Victor in goal, a back four of Ponte, Adilson, Marcel and Alex Tellez. Gregor and Freitas in the middle with attacking four of Enrique, Severino, Almada and Mr. Igor Jesus up top by himself. Sao Paulo, their season is finished really, isn't it? They're going with a 3-4-3 formation. Jadiri in goal, Franco, Sabino and Tresoldi are the back three. Patrick, Nestor, Antonio and Vinicius are the four in midfield, with William Gomez, Andre and Santiago Longo as their front three. Cuiabá against Vasco then. Cuiabá already relegated. They start with a 4-2-3-1. It's Pacianto in goal, Raylan, Alves, Kisnorwich and Pablo as the back four. Mineiro and Danielson as the holding two. Jadson, Alves and Clayson, and then Lacerda as a lone striker. Vasco lining up with a 4-3-1-2 formation. Leo in goal, Leandrino, Leo, Victor and Rodriguez in the back four. Moira, Ya and Coca as the three. Philippe Coutinho had a wonderful game against Garlo in the last round. Can he sign off again with a lovely performance here? Let's wait and see. In the 10 for Vasco tonight. And then Teixeira and Vighetti in the two up front. Flamengo against Vitória then. Rossi in goal for Flamengo. They go with a 4-4-2 formation. Wesley, Ortiz, David Luiz and Mr. Ariton Lucas make up the back four. Four in midfield then, Plata, Pulgar, Everton and Jason, with Barbosa, his final game, Gabigol for Flamengo tonight. He lines up alongside Bruno Henrique in a striker two pair. Let's see what damage they can do to Vitória. Vitória themselves go with a 4-3-3 formation. Alejandro in goal, Estevez, Leandro, Edu and Caceres are the back four. Ricardo, Rayla and William in the three. And then Eduardo, my man Alejandro, sorry. Let's hope he can get another one and maybe get the golden boot for the season. That would be excellent, wouldn't it? Let's wait and see. And Mosquito on the other side for Vitória. Fortaleza against Inter then, a very, very important game on the final day, They're lining up Fortaleza at home in a 4-2-3-1 formation. Ricardo, Brits, Tiga, Tete, and Mancuso in the back four. Hercules and Rossetto in the midfield too. And then we've got Martino, Varela, and Pochettino, and Lucero as the lone striker. Inter, big game for them, like we know. They're going with a 4-2-2-2 formation. Bit of Jesse Marsh in there as a former Leeds United fan. I see that, you know. Rochette in goal. They've got Barbe, Vital, Clayton, and Gomez as the back four. Henrique and Romelu in the two. Then the two further up, Alves and Tabata, and Valencia and Mr. Rafael Santos Borre, who's come into form recently as the top two at the front of the pitch. And then into Gremio against Corinthians. Gremio against Corinthians is the next game. We'll look at the front, the starting 11. Sorry, and then Ryan, I'm not ignoring you. I see your comments, mate. I'll get to them in a short time. So we've got Gremio line up in a 4-4-2 formation. You've got Kake in goal, Pedro, Gremio, Jerison, and Reynaldo in the back four. You've got Pavon, Velesanti, Dodi, and Soteldo in the midfield. And then you've got Costa and Braithwaite. Quite a formidable front two, maybe next season, potentially. Let's wait and see. But they're coming up against Corinthians, who are on looking for an 8th straight win, I believe. So let's wait and see if they can get that. They're lining up in a 4-3-1-2 formation. Nogueira in goal. We've got Bidu, Kaká, Silva, and Matuenzino as a back four. Bidon, Ranelli, and Carrillo as the three. Garro in the 10. James really enjoys Garro's performance, and why would he not? 10 and 20 goal and assist contributions so far this season. 10 and 10. And then you've got Depay and Alberto. Yuri Alberto is on absolute fire latterly in the season for Corinthians. He lines up for them. And then we've got Juventude and Corinthians. Juventude 4-2-3-1. Gabriel, Lucas, Boza, Fritas, Everton make up the back four. Jadson and Ronaldo. And then you've got Barbosa, who's been on electric form, hasn't he, for Juventude. Maybe the difference between relegation and staying up in Serie A this season. On loan from Santos. Will we see him in the black and white of Santos next season? Who knows? And you've got Gene, the famous Gene at 10. And then you've got Fares and Bill up front. Cruzeiro line up in a 4-2-3-1 also. Casio in goal. Kai, Jesus, Marcelo, and William as a back four. Romero, Silva is the two holding. Tevez, Ramiro, Veron, and then we've got Pereira up front by himself. And then we go Palmeiras. Big game for Palmeiras and Fluminense. These games have already just started, by the way. I think there might have been a slight delay potentially, but we're about a minute or so into these games, a few minutes in. Palmeiras then line up with Weverton in goal. Guy, Cervera, Gomez, and Van der Laan. That's in the defence. Moreno and Rios as the holding players. Estevao, of course. Estevao, Willian. Let's see what he can do tonight. Can he bring Palmeiras the title? Let's wait and see. We've got Vega and Mauricio in the other players as the front three. And then we've got Mr. Jose Lopez up top by himself. Had a good season, Lopez. Let's see if he can cap it off with more goals and a potential title-winning contribution. Let's see. Fluminense, big game for them. Could end up in Serie B by the end of it. We've got Fabio in goal, very veteran goalkeeper. We've got Fuentes, Santos, Silva, and Xavier in the back. We've got Martinelli and Nonanto. And then Serna, who got that all-important goal, in the last game against Cuiabá. We've got Lima and John Arias. Let's hope he doesn't make it a hat-trick of penalty misses tonight. as he's missed 2 in 2. And then we've got German Cano as a central striker. The last one then to report on as far as starting 11s go. About a minute and a half into this game now. RB Bragantino against Criciúma. It's 0-0 as we stand. They land with a 4-2-3-1 formation, of course. Schweiberger in goal. We've got Hurtado, Enrique, Cunha, and Capsaba as the back four. Jadson, Evangelista is the holding two. We've got Menconda, Lincoln, and Jonathan as the holding three. Then we've got Sasha up front. Got our player of the round last round. Big contribution from Sasha with those 2 goals that ended up beating Atletico PR. But, nothing more than a win would do them tonight. They have to win, otherwise they are relegated. They're playing against already relegated Criciúma, and they line up with a 4-1-4-1 formation. Marcelo Bielsa-esque, of course. Gustavo in goal. Hermes, Figueroa, Fagundes, and Jonathan make up the back four. We've got the sitting player is Ronald. And then we've got the front five of Roca, Barreto, Newton, and Robert. And up front by himself, had a decent season to say, where Criciúma are now, and already relegated, of course, is Arthur Kaike up front. So there's the starting 11s for you. They're all 0-0 as we stand. And Ryan, I'll get to you and some of your comments here. So I know you were bringing them in a few minutes ago. So, where's James? He's not here at the moment. Not here. He's otherwise occupied, I suppose. Let's see if he comes on. He's aware of it, Ryan. So let's see if James makes an appearance. I don't know if he will or not, but let's wait and see. I might be stuck with just myself at the moment, but we'll wait and see. He might make an appearance if he can. But yeah, are we happy with the growth of the channel? It's hard to get fans into Brazilian football, as most British fans don't follow it. We had a really, really good upturn, Ryan, on one of the videos recently. Hundreds of views, which was brilliant to see, and really seemed to catch the imagination. But I think it might have been mainly maybe due to the Libertadores final and that going on as well. So I think that might have been a situation where people were tuning in because of the Libs. So I don't know, but ultimately, look, we started it going on a year ago. Obviously, it is difficult to get people involved in Brazilian football as British fans, but we're trying to let people know about it, and me and James are enjoying doing it. It's something we enjoy. Obviously, next season we've got other different ideas, new ideas, and let's see where that goes for the channel. So for the podcast, so we'll wait and see, Ryan. But I think at the moment it's a slow process, and would be a bit naive to think that as soon as we start, we're going to get loads and loads of people watching. It's a gradual process. So. We'll just have to wait and see how things progress in terms of that, really. But hopefully, and you let your pals know, share it about, get the word out about Brazilian football, because it is a good standard. There's good players coming to the league now, and and everything. The likes of Memphis Depay, who has been fabulous since joining Corinthians, hasn't he? Really, really important contribution so far, and he's risen them up to the table. Like I said, they've got 8, maybe on the cusp, on the verge tonight. If they can win, it'll be finishing the season with 8 wins in a row, which is absolutely fantastic. It would be brilliant to see if they can do that. But as a short question, I think we're relatively happy, and live shows like tonight is a bit different. It's a little bit sort of what would you say? It's a little bit kind of obviously not rehearsed. It's just like a bit of a whim kind of thing. I'll just do it. You know what I mean? Might get some more people involved in the channel, and that would be brilliant. Obviously, there's a couple of people watching it. You know, obviously Ryan, you're one of them. You know, the other person, make yourself known if you want to comment in, and you know where you're listening from, and following the final knockings of the Brazil tonight. You know, have you got any games on? I mean, obviously being British, you know, in Europe and England, you know, it isn't widely televised at all. So it's something that we do our best to follow and see where it goes. But there has been a goal, the first goal of the evening, and it's a big goal. It's a big goal for Fortaleza. Doesn't look like they've had the best of the opening few minutes, but they are 1-0 ahead against Inter, and they now currently are going up to fourth in the table. Inter finishing in fifth as it stands. As we just await, it was Mr. Moses Vieira who got the goal, the number 10, and that's his sixth goal of the season. The Brazilian left winger is playing in at a number 10 tonight. 28-year-old Moses Vieira, coming last year. It's his first season. He wasn't actually. Came back to Fortaleza. Went to Cruz Azul in Mexico last season. Back for the Brasileirão this time round, and he's got an important goal there to put Fortaleza 1-0 ahead against Inter. So, wow, you know, that's quite something. You know, we'll wait and see how that one progresses. But an early goal to pour over for that one. And Fortaleza, really, they need it. They're on bad form. Would finish in the automatic Libertadores qualification place, which would be a real achievement. And for Pablo Voivoda, it would be an amazing achievement, really, to say. I think they finished halfway down the league last season. It's been a real upturn this time round, and that would be their first win in 5 games. And Inter, on the other hand, ending the season after that amazing unbeaten run, I think 15, 16 games unbeaten. Supermercado, of course, we call him on the pod. I know James is very happy with him, but they haven't been so good of late. This would be their third defeat in a row, although they have come up against some very good sides in Flamengo, Botafogo, and now Fortaleza sitting in, well, just above them in fourth. Very difficult games to go up against. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting these next hours, and see who finishes where, and then hopefully, well, it'll all come clear, won't it, at the end of the time. So we'll soon find out who's going to end on the top, who's going to end in the relegation positions. And like I said, anybody watching, let me know your allegiances. Where do your allegiances lie, Ryan? I mean, you seem to have been following it for a little while now. I know you're trying to get into other leagues as well, you said, but who is your team? Have you decided on a Brazilian team yet, or what's happening in your mind in terms of which team to support? And where do I think Neymar will go next? Hope he goes back to Brazil, maybe back to Santos there. Santos back up. They won Serie B a couple of weeks ago now. Yeah, I think is the last time is when they came back up. So I think both me and James quite excited about that. It's a massive team, is Santos, and I think we're both looking forward to covering them again. Covering them for the first time. Obviously, this season being our first foray into the podcast world in terms of Brazilian football. yeah, I'm excited to see what Santos do. I don't think Neymar would be going back to Santos, Ryan. I personally don't know the situation with Neymar. Actually, he's still playing in Saudi Arabia, is he? I'm not certain, but he must be knocking on now. So maybe you're right. A return to Brazil might be on the cards for him. Whether he goes back to Santos, who knows? I mean, like this is what I mean. The Brazilian league seems to be getting quite a number of high-profile players, and we do know that the veteran sort of Brazilian players do like to go back to the homegrown home teams. So you never know. Might be a good shout actually. In fact, Ryan, who knows? But yeah, let's we're just going to have to wait and see. I don't know like I said, I don't know what his situation is. Regarding his contract in Saudi. So let's wait and see. It's all 0-0 by that Fortaleza goal against Inter so far. So we've got Gio 0, PR 0. Sorry, Galo 0, PR 0. Bahia 0, Gio 0. Fogo 0, Sao Paulo 0. Cuiabá 0, Vasco 0. Flamengo 0, Vitória 0. Fortaleza 1, Inter 0. Grêmio 0, Corinthians 0, Juventude 0, Cruzeiro 0, and Palmeiras 0, Flu 0, RB 0, Criciúma 0. So yeah, keep going, keep me occupied in this stream. So so we have something to talk about. But yeah, I mean, how's everybody's weekend gone? If you want to talk about the weekend, and let's see where this stream goes. But there has been a storm here, of course, in England. Really poor weather, rain, really cold and windy weather. It's not been good at all. But I'll stop talking about the weather because there's been a massive goal here in Bragantino. RB Bragantino 1, Criciúma 0. This is amazing. 13th minute. 1-0. We just await the goal scorer, but this goal, as it stands, takes RB Bragantino up past the relegation zone, and at the moment it's Atletico Paranense who are locked level at 0-0 with Galo, who would cop it and go down to Serie B. As it stands, Bragantino 1-0 up against Criciúma, and it is the right back, Capsiaba, who has got the goal. Brazilian 27-year-old, so he's left back, playing at left back tonight. What a massive goal that is, or could be, obviously early knock-ins of the games. But Juninho Capsiaba, what a goal! What a way, to introduce yourself into the game. It's only his second goal of the season. Got a goal in the recent hammering against Inter in the back end of November. But this one looks like it being a hell of a lot more important potentially. 13th minute, RB Bragantino 1, Criciúma 0. And that is the second goal of the final day of the Brazilian season. Let's wait and see how it continues to amaze us at the moment. You say Cruzeiro. You did a PES Master League with them and an FM save. All right, okay, fair enough. Cruzeiro are a good team to support. Locked at 0-0, Ryan, with Juventude at the moment in the early stages of their final game. Looks like they've got a few good players coming in. I know Gabigol's coming in from Flamengo, isn't he, to Cruzeiro for next season. I don't know if Denise will still be there. He's been a real disappointment, hasn't he? Of since he came in. Actually, I think Seabra was a little bit unlucky to lose his job when he did, and obviously Denise has now come in and replaced him. He hasn't really done much. I think both me and James thought that he was going to come in and sort of win the title of the Sudamericana for Cruzeiro, but he didn't, and he just yeah, he just ended up not being a very good appointment in the end by the look of it. And I don't think he'll be there next season. But I know Cruzeiro do seem to be doing some good business. There's been another goal as well in the Serie A. Flamengo are on the other end of Alejandro's good season. I think at the moment he might be bagging the top goal scorer. I think that's his 15th goal in the 16th minute away at Flamengo. Wow, in Rio de Janeiro, Vitória have taken the lead. Alejandro, what a goaler. An assist by Carlos Eduardo next to him on the left wing. He's a central striker, of course. 15th goal of the season. He's on loan from RB Bragantino. What a decision that was to send him on loan to them if they eventually end up getting relegated. But Vitória doing marvellously well. Marvellously well. I can't even say that word now for some reason. Marvellously. No, I'm not going to bother saying it anymore. But Vitória, 1 goal up against Flamengo. And that sends them into 11th position, into the Sudamericana positions. That is an absolutely fabulous position if they can get to it. I know Carpini, I think we'll do like an award system, an award show at the end of the season, and whether he can, I think Mr. Carpini will be involved in that shortlist for manager of the season. He's certainly in with a shout in my mind, definitely. He's done a marvellous job of taking Vitória from sort of near relegation fodder to Sudamericana qualification. And you've got to say that Vitória, we speak about them regularly on the pod, really made themselves safe a few weeks ago. And, to say they were playing in Serie C last season, well, as recent ago as 2022, it's quite amazing, really, to now think that they won Serie B last time out and now finishing in a very, very respectable 11th position is quite something, really. So fair play to them. And they are currently sitting in 11th position. So yeah, that's it. So few early goals that have changed the picture of the table. So let's wait and see. It's still locked. Fogo 0, Sao Paulo 0, and Palmeiras 0, Fluminense 0, which obviously so far means that Botafogo would end up being the winners of the 2024 Brasileirão. So let's wait and see if anything changes. But yeah, Cruzeiro, like I was saying, I think next season they might be a force. I don't know if Denise will be there, but if they can get it right, Ryan, you might be onto something good there. Obviously beaten in the Sudamericana final a few weeks ago, very disappointingly in Paraguay against Racing Club, the Argentinian club. Let's see what you're saying here. The other leagues I'm getting into, MLS, La Liga. I've been watching Scottish Premiership. Do I want to get into Italy, Serie A, but few leagues following hard to keep up with. Yeah, I mean, look, you can never keep on top of everything. I mean, my knowledge of football, I would say, is quite good. But look, you can't keep on top of every single league that's going, can you? It's impossible. But what I'd say is, yeah, obviously you look for leagues, you enjoy your league, and all that. You enjoy. You have your team. I mean, obviously my team is Leeds. Obviously from young, so Leeds is my team, and then. Obviously, since we've been getting into Brazilian football, I picked Gala as my team. I don't support any other teams on top of that. They're just my only teams, really. And yeah, it's difficult to get on top of, like, what's that like? I think that's 5 different. That's 5 different leagues you're trying to keep across all at once. I mean, what I might suggest, Ryan, is that obviously, yeah. Look at all the different ones. Let's see, it's great to have knowledge of football, isn't it, and stuff. But if you really want to get an expert on one, I suppose you've got to hone in and just say, right, which one do I really want to be, be good at and be knowledgeable about, and if you want to pick one, then I think, pick one and really stick at that and do your research on those teams in there and really go for that. I mean, do you stream your game, don't you? So what do you potentially start up your own podcast on one of the leagues or something like that? And I think the reason maybe as well potentially why we chose Brazilian football. Obviously, we had we enjoyed Brazilian football before we started doing the podcast. But I think the reason we started the podcast really was that I don't think there is a Brazilian football podcast out there before we started. So, I think, there's a South American one, but I don't think there's a one just solely focusing on the Brasileirão. So I think that's why we wanted to make this a thing. And it's worked out well, and at the end of the day, if you enjoy what you're doing, then that's the thing. If you're enjoying it, you're enjoying it, and and you just keep going. But if you enjoy looking at all them leagues, then why not? You know what I mean? Are you watching any of those leagues, or are you just kind of keeping an eye on it? And how do you keep an eye on it? Do you watch them, or do you have apps and things that you keep across them on? How do you keep an eye on the leagues that you're interested in? There's been a couple of goals anyway to talk about, and Fortaleza seem to have just hit the ground running and hit Inter for 2 already. It's Fortaleza 2, Inter 0, and it's that man we spoke about a few minutes ago, Moses Vieira, who's got a second goal to make it 2-0 at Fortaleza. 2 in 20 minutes. What a start. And Inter, that incredible start, incredible run of form that they had, that is disappearing quickly, and it will be obviously their final game of the 24 Brasileirão season, and it looks like they're going to have to qualify for the Libertadores, go through the qualification phases and finish in 5th position, because Fortaleza have found form again. It's 2-0 now against Inter. Moses Vieira, the man of the moment, potentially could be our player of the round, an early contender for our player of the round. Let's wait and see how the rest of the evening goes for him. And for the other teams, there's also been a goal in Cuiabá as well. Cuiabá already relegated and are now 1-0 down at home against Vasco da Gama. It's that man, the talisman potentially for Vasco, Mr. Pablo Vegetti, the 36-year-old with his 12th goal of the season, had a very, very good season. The veteran striker there, Argentine man, been playing since 2023 at Vasco, August 2023. Always seems to be on the score sheet, not far from a goal, does Mr. Vegetti. So, yeah, what a start. What a start. We've had a few goals already and excitement to go on with as well. So we'll keep across it all, and I'll give you an update on all the scores in a minute. But to answer your question, Ryan, about is the Brazilian League my favourite league, or is it still the Prem? I'm not sure really, the Brazilian League, it probably has overtaken me in terms of the Premier League. It'd be an interesting question to ask James, I think, as well, because, with my team not being in the Premier League, I very rarely watch the Premier League. Like, I'll keep a track of it. I'll keep a track of what the scores are and who's doing what and whatnot. But I will very rarely sort out the highlights. Match of the day is on incredibly late for myself to kind of watch it. So I can't remember the last time I would have caught up on any kind of highlights from the Premier League or anything like that. Whereas obviously doing the pod, the Brasileirão and things, I watch them weekly and whenever the game weeks or and whenever the matches are on. So. I would probably say the Brazilian League has overtaken me for the Premier League. Obviously, Leeds were in the Prem a few years ago, obviously relegated a couple of years ago. And I did enjoy watching the Premier League then because we were in it and it holds more weight for me. But at the moment, yeah, I just don't check much for the Premier League. I look at the scores and look at who's scoring and whatnot. But other than that, I don't really look at the Premier League too hard, to be fair. Obviously, with my team being in the Championship as well. I mean, who do you actually spot? I know you're saying Cruzeiro for Brazilian sides, Ryan, but who is your team? Have you got an English team that you support at all, or or what's the situation for you in terms of teams you're supporting? But it is an interesting, it's an interesting debate, isn't it? I mean, but yeah, for me, I think Brazilian football over the Premier League. The Championship is quite interesting as well. Obviously, Leeds had a win yesterday, quite comfortable in the end. I'm just seeing West Brom. They had a draw with Sheffield United at Hawthorns today, so that puts us one behind them in second, a point behind Sheffield United, and a point above Burnley in third. So we're quite nicely placed at the moment. So I do look at the Championship stuff, and obviously it depends on what league your team are in, doesn't it, as well? But yeah, I think the Premier League for me, I think as a fan, you want your team to get into the Premier League, don't you? Because you want your team to win games of football, and naturally, that's the promotion and stuff. That's the consequence of winning a load of football matches and coming top of leagues and stuff. You get promotion, you'll go into the top division, but I don't know. The Premier League and stuff, it's very diluted. There is a very strong sort of divide in teams coming up and trying to challenge. It's very, very difficult to challenge the top end of the Premier League, isn't it? If you're a team coming up, so it's very difficult to sort of puncture the top teams in the Premier League, and it becomes a little bit depressing at times in the Premier League, where you're losing week in, week out, pretty much getting a win every sort of 5 or 6 games or so, and it isn't very fun generally if you're not very good, isn't it? So I think generally the journey is better than the destination potentially in terms of Championship, and getting promoted, but. Let's wait and see. But yeah, I want title to go GD for title. That would be very intriguing for the title race. You mean in this one here, in the Brasileirão, Ryan? Yeah, I mean it would be interesting. I was trying to work out the various different permutations of how Palmeiras can still win the league. Yeah, but it's very, very unlikely at this stage, and particularly if it ended the way it is, Fogo win, they only need a point, and at the moment they're getting that. So the scores at the moment in the 35th minute of every game played at the minute, well, every game played, we're all playing at the same time tonight. So Galo 0, PR 0, Bahia 0, GO 0, Fogo 0, Sao Paulo 0, Cuiabá 0, Vasco 1, Flamengo 0, Vitória 1, Fortaleza 2, Inter 0, Grêmio 0, Corinthians 0, Juventude 0, Cruzeiro 0, Palmeiras 0, Fluminense 0, and RB Bragantino 1, Kachuma 0. So there's only been 5 goals so far in the 10 games. So very quiet so far in the Serie A final day of the season. If we run through the interesting points in the table, so this, as it stands, would hand Botafogo their first title in nearly 30 years, which would be a 3-point win over Palmeiras. Excuse me, I'm going to sneeze in a second. I felt like I was going to do, but it has gone. So, and then the final knock-in, the relegation positions, it would mean so far that Atletico PR, Paranense are to be relegated as it stands. RB Bragantino saving themselves by a point as it stands as we come into the final embers of the first half. Let's see what happens in the final 10 minutes or so of the first half of these games tonight. One league I like to watch more La Liga, I mainly get into a league by listening to a podcast about the league. Like yours, I listen to Eltel and John weekly La Liga podcast. Terry Gibson does it fun. Yeah, I've listened to. Thanks for listening to us first and foremost, Ryan. We appreciate everybody that listens, and it's good that you're getting into the league and using us as a bit of a kind of soundboard and a bit of a learning tool for the league. So that's nice to know. I have actually listened to this podcast as well, the one about La Liga with Terry Gibson. Is it Eltel? Yeah, Eltel as well. Yeah. I've listened to it a few times. I'm the same, really. I similar to you, I listen to podcasts on various different leagues, and there's all sorts about. And this is what I mean. I don't think we could see a Brazilian football league podcast. So that was, I think, in the sort of partly the reason as well why we did it. But we'll come back to that in a minute, Ryan, because things are getting better and better and better for RB Bragantino. It's 2-0 now over Criciúma. Mr. Vinicius Menconca, he's got the second goal. And wow, this is incredible. The 20-year-old Brazilian man only played a handful of times. Well, he's played quite a number of times actually this season for Bragg, but he's getting them into the driving seat here. Absolutely. Driving seat in there. They're driving Criciúma back down to Serie B, and they're driving themselves up into safety. As it stands, that is incredible. 2-0 now against Criciúma. Is that an unassailable lead? I would probably say it is for Bragantino now. I think that is probably them, and they have saved themselves. Let's see if PR can respond, because at the moment, and I'm sure in about 10 minutes' time when they get into the changing rooms, they will be told about the RB result as it stands, and it's not good news for PR. They're going down as it stands. Let's wait and see how they can, if they can get a goal against Galo and save themselves from doom, really. Incredible scenes, that. But, do you listen to that one weekly then, you say? Ryan, do you listen to Eltel and Terry Gibson weekly? I have listened to it in the past. I thought it was good. I thought it was, it's informative, but it's fun. They have a laugh. And that's what you've got to do. In the end, really, you've got to, make it fun and enjoyable. But I think if you enjoy it, then then that's the main thing, and people will enjoy it as well and find it informative. And this is what we aim to do. We aim to make it fun. We enjoy the podcast. We enjoy doing it. I think we both look forward to the to doing it as well. So it's something to look forward to and something to enjoy and something new to get your teeth into. So yeah. So you watch highlights of the leagues every match and keep an eye at once a week on their table, see who's. Yeah, well, this is it. This is all you can do, because we can't, in terms of the Brazilian league, we can't go over there and have a watch of the games, not yet, anyway. So you know what I mean. It's good to keep an eye out on weekly things and watch highlights where you can. Obviously, we're in a technology age, aren't we? We can easily access things like highlights for football matches and all that sort of thing. Like you said, podcasts. Podcasts are a big thing nowadays, Ryan, aren't they? So, this is what we've done with ours, and I'm glad you'll find it informative and enjoy it as well. How do you follow Brazilian league, and do you know what players go where? It is mainly highlights you watch or full games, and I support Coventry. Okay, Lampard, our new manager, he started well, drew and win. Yeah, Well, as far as the Brazilian league go, yeah, we like I said before, it's not widely done in Europe. So yeah, it's not widely broadcast. So you've got to rely on highlights really, and again, we get a lot of information from online outlets and apps, and there's a particularly good app called FotMob. Of course, I don't know if you know it, Ryan, but it's excellent. You can follow all sorts of leagues on there. Lots of information, lots of stats and stuff, and yeah, it's very, very good. And that's how we kind of keep an eye on who's going where. You just keep an eye on it regularly, what's happening. Reports. Like I said, FotMob is exceptionally good. To be quite honest, as well, and it has a lot of information on there as well. So check that out. You can keep an eye on all sorts of leagues, by using that app. Lampard, he has started well. You won yesterday, didn't you, Ryan? I think, was it Millwall away? I mean, that's an incredible result, to be fair, because even Leeds, the best of teams find it hard to go and win away at Millwall. So that's an incredible result, really, and one which I'm sure Frank will relish in his first result in a Coventry as Coventry manager. That's fabulous, really, and I think that's quite a coup, really, for Coventry to get Lampard in. Obviously, didn't go well from at Chelsea, and he's been a bit unliked, really, at the clubs that he's been to in the past. But I think generally, he's been, he's done okay, I suppose. And to start with a draw and a win, a draw at Cardiff and a win at, sorry, a draw at home, wasn't it, to Cardiff at the weekend, and then a win away at Millwall. It's okay. 4 points from 2 games. Get yourself away from the relegation zone initially. 4 points away from there now. But you're 10 points behind Blackburn in 6th. So initially, get yourselves away from danger, and then see what they can do. Can they build on that, and then try and get into the top 6? Do you think you can get top 6, Ryan, as a Coventry City fan? Do you think you can get top 6? I mean, I know when you came to Leeds, I know it was while you were in a poor run of form under Mark Robins, but they didn't look good at all, to be fair. They didn't look like they really, they didn't have any ideas, and it was plain to see they were completely void of any confidence. So it's good they got rid of Robins in the end, and I think eventually, I know he was a long-serving manager, but I think eventually you have to make a change, and it's a positive one, and I know the fans were quite upbeat about Frank's appointment. So, hopefully that can be a catalyst for you to get away from initially the relegation zone. I mean, I think Leeds will go up this year. You have a very good team. Who you fave player for Leeds? For you, he was great, Mark Viduka. Yeah. For you, he Australia's best ever player. I loved Tim Cahill too. Difficult, really. I mean, Viduka. I loved Alan Smith. Growing up, I thought he was excellent. I mean, the team we had when I was sort of growing up, Ryan, was absolutely excellent. I mean, I don't know, by the sound of it, you might be a similar kind of age, and if you remember, the likes of Mark Viduka and Tim Cahill. But excellent player, Mark Viduka. I think we should go up this time, whether it's in first or second. We've got the team to do it. It's just consistency with Leeds. We really need to just sort out our away form, and then if we can do that, then we're on to a bit of a good thing. But anyway, enough of that chat, because there's been a couple of goals here, Ryan, while we've been speaking. First and foremost, it is Fogo 1-0 ahead against Sao Paulo. The title is surely theirs now. 6 points as it stands ahead of Palmeiras. It's that man, Severino, again. He's having an absolutely fabulous season. Looks like he might well have scored the goal that wins Fogo the title here. And fabulous scenes there. 1-0 up at home against Sao Paulo. Other goals that have gone in, there has been a few and important ones at the bottom as well. Fluminense are now 1-0 ahead against Palmeiras. Sterner, he got a goal last time out. He has another goal again in this one. Kevin Sterner putting Fluminense 1-0 ahead in the 37th minute of this game here. Palmeiras on the floor now, surely. Fluminense hitting the heady heights of 13th position with that goal. Wow, 1-0 ahead in Sao Paulo. Fabulous scenes. Other goals as well have gone in. Cuiabá are now 2-1 down. They got back to 1 apiece. Laceda, got the equaliser for Cuiabá. But Vasco have just gone 2-1 up. We'll go back to that in a second because you'll be happy, Ryan. Cruzeiro with a goal to lead away at Juventude. Mr. Tevez, the young man Tevez, has scored for Cruzeiro. He's only played a handful of games for Cruzeiro. Will mean a lot to him. Could be on our radar for the Young Player of the Round award. He has put Cruzeiro 1-0 up against Juventude. And then also RB Bragantino, their lead has been halved with Criciúma. Mr. Fagundes has scored to put them back in contention. It is now RB2, Criciúma 1. And going back to the Vasco game, Pablo Vegetti with his second of the game, putting Vasco 2-1 ahead, against Cuiabá. So I'll run through the scores now, just now. So it's just approaching half time now. So we've got Galo 0, PR 0. PR, as it stands, relegated to Serie B. Bahia 0, Gio 0, Fogo 1, Sao Paulo 0, Cuiabá 1, Vasco 2, Flamengo 0, Vitória 1, Fortaleza 2, Inter 0, Grêmio 0, Corinthians 0, Juventude 0, Cruzeiro 1, Palmeiras 0, Fluminense 1, and RB Bragantino 2, Criciúma 1. So I will round up them scores again at half time in a few minutes, but a couple of a mad sort of 10 minutes or so there. A lot of goals going in, and the madness has started. I'll also run through the table at half time just so that people are kept above it. But the headline news, of course, is that Fogo are on course for a historic title win now. They're sitting 6 points ahead of Palmeiras as it stands, and that is more than enough to win the title at this very, very, very late stage of the season. So, yeah, Ryan, what you're saying here now, do you listen to Rest is Football with Shearer, Richards and Lineker? That good one, that fun one? Yeah, I listen weekly. Sometimes I fall behind, so I binge them to catch up. The EPs, yeah. Terry Gibson pod's good. Yeah, I don't listen to that podcast, actually. I know of it, though, of course. I know it's there, and they do seem to have a bit of a laugh on it. I know they have special guests. Obviously, they've got the clout and the sort of name to get these players on, these footballers on, and current footballers as well, don't they? They get everybody on there. So obviously, the big name guys, aren't they? So they can afford to get these people on, so it's excellent. It's a good listen, actually. Yeah, it's fun, and like you said, Terry Gibson. Yeah, I have listened to in the past, and it is, if you can listen weekly, yeah, you will really start to really know about the league, know about the players within it, know a lot about everything in it. If you're listening weekly, and you're also doing your own little research in between, yeah, you can really start to get a hold on what a league is about and the teams within it. So yeah, I mean, keep going with that, and yeah, what about that one do you enjoy, with the Shearer and Richards and Lineker? What is it that keeps you coming back weekly? Because obviously you being an English football fan, I guess you will know about the Premier League and stuff. So what keeps you coming back to that league? Is it the personalities within those three guys that you enjoy listening to? Because I can't imagine you will need too much educating on the Premier League. I mean, I don't personally feel I need a lot of educating on the Premier League. I know the players within it a lot and, everything like that. So what is it that keeps you coming back? Yeah, 1-0. Was that that was yesterday, wasn't it? 1-0 win over Millwall. Like I said, even the best teams, when we fell at Millwall, we fell to a 1-0 defeat at Millwall. So it's a very difficult, difficult ground to go to be honest. And yeah, I don't really enjoy going to Millwall at all, to be honest. Yeah, but there you go. He did well at Derby, got them into playoff final and got Chelsea into Champions League with transfer embargo. And I think we finished mid-table, top 10, just outside playoff. I hope we do make them. Yeah. Look, he did all right. I mean, at our expense, you've got to remember, Ryan, at our expense. Somebody left something in the changing rooms that evening when they beat us at Ellen Road, didn't they? Obviously, we beat Derby yesterday 2-0 at Ellen Road, and there is still a bit of a grudge with those two teams at that game, the playoff semi-final, in 2019. I think it was 2019, 18-19 season. Yeah, so I mean, it was unforgivable to lose that playoff semi, really, when you were 2-0 up. In the tie, and to lose it 4-3 on aggregate was just not good. And yeah, but obviously he orchestrated that, and they got beat in the final to Villa, didn't they? I think it was a close game though. And Chelsea Champions League. I mean, look, Chelsea, even though he had a transfer embargo, I think he did still have he had a multi-million-pound team, didn't he? So, that's, you might say maybe he should have done a little bit better with them, really, to be fair. But, at the end of the day, he got them there. But for me, where does he go from there now? Because obviously, he can manage like Condon, obviously, things like this. But the pinnacle of his career was managing Chelsea. So, everything else seems a bit of second best to me for him. But there you go. Look, he should do. He should be able to, he's not a bad manager. He should be able to get a team like Coventry away from relegation in that division, and potentially knocking on the door for the playoffs if you can just squeeze in. Heartbreaking, wasn't it, a couple of years ago when you lost to Luton in the playoff final on penalties? That must have been absolutely gutting because. Well, yeah, I've been in that situation with Leeds as well. It's not that well the last season. Obviously, we lost in the playoff final, so it's not a nice way to lose, is it? So, yeah, but I don't see it. We can see. So you think you can see too many goals, but beating Millwall 1-0 will help Cov defence confidence. Yeah, Cruzeiro winning. I see their stadium looks amazing. What are your favourite Brazil ground? Yeah, like I said, beating Millwall at Millwall is something that a lot of teams don't seem to be able to do, so particularly keeping them out. I mean, they don't score many goals, Millwall, but they definitely don't concede many either. So you did well to win that 1-1-0. Hopefully it's a catalyst for them to bounce up the league a little bit now. I'm not 100% sure, really, Ryan. I've got to have a look a little bit more into the league and stuff like this, really, because I don't into the sort of the stadia. Sorry, because I haven't really managed to study the stadia really at all. So it's something that I will study at some stage and have a look at every single stadium. In there, because there are some amazing stadiums. I mean, my mind immediately goes to the Maracanã, and the Maracanã looks an amazing stadium. And, the atmosphere at the stadium seems either absolutely electric or just dead. I mean, they don't seem a lot. Some games they don't seem to get many like a lot of attendance, and other games it's absolutely rammed full. So, but there's no doubt. I know Arthur Jorge was speaking after they beat Inter last time out about the passion of the Brazilian fans, and you have to agree with him. Really, they do look incredibly passionate for the football. You saw it in the Libertadores final. You say you watched it, Ryan. The fans were crying mid-game. Even the players. Alex Tellers, after he scored that penalty, running off, tears in his eyes. Very passionate about the football and about the teams, and it's it's good. It's good because we're like that in England, aren't we? Very passionate about our teams. You're watching your team. You're getting very frustrated and very irate and kicking every ball, as they say, aren't they? So, yeah, the Brazilian fans seem very similar as well. There's no half-assed about them. They're all in, really, or they're not at all as well. Some of the stadiums do look quite bare at times as well. Anyway, there has been another goal to speak about in Bahia, in Salvador. 1-0. It has finished a half-time score. We will go through them all in a second. Thieno has got the goal, the striker, Brazilian striker. That's his 8th of the season. So he's had a decent season, and it's looking likely now, if Bahia can hold on to this, that they will get that final Copa Libertadores place, which would have gone to Cruzeiro, of course, Ryan, if Bahia don't win and Cruzeiro do, which was happening up until a few minutes ago. Bahia now 1-0 ahead over already relegated GO. So we will run through the scores now. I think it is half-time in all of them. So we have Galo 0, PR 0, Bahia 1, GO 0, Fogo 1, Sao Paulo 0, Cuiabá 1, Vasco 2, Flamengo 0, Vitória 1, Fortaleza 2, Inter 0, Grêmio 0, Corinthians 1. Oh, we've missed that goal. We have to go back to that one as well. It was a late show in the first half for Corinthians. They are 1-0 ahead against Grêmio. It's Juventude 0, Cruzeiro 1, Palmeiras 0, Fluminense 1, and RB Bragantino 2, Criciúma 1. So let's go back to that Grêmio Corinthians game. And it's that man again, Yuri Alberto, with a 46th minute penalty, an injury time penalty against Grêmio at the home of Grêmio. 1-0 it stands. Yuri Alberto with the penalty kick, and that sends them 1-0 ahead. It was a VAR decision. The penalty went to VAR. It was a foul on Yuri Alberto, actually, as well, by Gremel of Grêmio. The referee wasn't sure about it at first, went to VAR, gave the pen, Alberto stuck it in, and they are now looking at an 8th straight league win, and they would be in 7th position, 3 points behind Sao Paulo. So, Ryan, I disagree when you said Robbins needed to go. I think he would have turned it around. He's our best ever manager. Took us from League 2 to Champs Playoff final, and last season FA Cup semi. Yeah, I think, well, yeah, I mean, that's it, isn't it? I mean, maybe I take that back, really, Ryan, that I would have said. I know he was well loved by a lot of Cov fans, Robbins. Yeah, and that's fair enough, isn't it? He's a long-serving manager. Like you said, took him all the way up from on the cusp of Premier League football, wasn't he, really? And it was absolutely gutting to lose it on penalties, wasn't it? That time, wasn't it? And yeah, this is a really, really gutting, really good, obviously, run in the semi-final of the FA Cup as well. I mean, that was unbelievable going to Wembley. I mean, did you go to Wembley last season, Ryan, when they got when they got there, or did he go to the playoff final as well a couple of years ago? Yeah, obviously Robins, was a long-serving manager, and I know it's disappointing when long-serving managers go, but I think ultimately when it's a results-driven business, isn't it? When you haven't got results, fans start to get frustrated, even at managers like Robbins. I'm sure the Coventry fans would have been frustrated and wanting him gone at the time, potentially because of the poor run of form. But you get your people also, obviously, that do say, no, I'll give him time, he will turn it around, he'll do it. But with each game that you lose, the fans do get a little bit more impatient. So we'll never know, but it'll be interesting to see what Robbins does actually next time, won't it? So where he goes next, because I think no doubt he is a talented coach, but all these things do come to an end, Ryan, don't they? And eventually, everything has to end, unfortunately. And his tenure was not to be anymore. So but I am interested. I'm sure you are, Ryan, to see what where he goes next. Of course. But we'll see. I mean, there has been as well, Ryan, a red card in the Cruzeiro game, and and I think it's gone to Juventude. So now you're going up against 10 men at Cruzeiro, and we'll see if they can hammer home that advantage in in the second half. But there is a sending off for Marcelino, who actually he wasn't on the pitch. So he's a sub, and he's been red carded, which seems to happen quite a lot actually in the Brasileirão, to be honest. Marcelino, we have spoken about him on the pod. He's a young lad on loan. He's on loan from Santos as well, actually. So he'll be lining up with Barbosa, his teammate at Juventude, maybe next season in the Serie A with Santos. We'll have to wait and see. But yeah, we'll see. I'm just gonna have a quick interlude and go for a drink and whatnot, and such things. But I will be back in a short time, in a few minutes. So just hold on there, and I'll be back soon. Hello. So after a quick interlude, we're back here now, and I'm sure the second half will be starting in a short time. So let's wait and see what happens. So Ryan, you say he starts Sporting Club in 03. So Robbins, from 2017 until he got fired, he gave me some of the best memories as a Cov fan. Before he was manager, we were in relegation battles, mid-table, nothing to cheer. So yeah, so how old are you, Ryan? If you don't mind me asking you there, if you were started supporting him in 03, I assume you might be a similar kind of age to myself actually. Um, there, but yeah, well, this is it, isn't it? You know, when a manager comes and does something good for your club, you naturally you start to gravitate towards him and want him to be the manager forever. But he can't be, unfortunately. These things have to change. Results do naturally get worse and worse, and everything doesn't. Everything doesn't last forever, does it? And eventually, things turn, and at that time, you just say, you know, he kind of had to go in a sense, but. I know the Coventry fans are split. I know he is. He's a lord. He's a lord amongst men, isn't he? Really, is Mr. Mark Robbins for them. And but when Robbins became manager, he saved our club. If wasn't for him, we be in non-league or extinct like Bury. But I'm gonna support Lamps. He's our manager now, so I'm gonna back him. Yeah, exactly. You've just got to back him now, haven't you? You've got to back the manager that's come in. It's not Lampard's fault. It's not his fault that that the majority of the fan base like Robbins. It wasn't his decision. It was the chairman's decision. It was the board's decision to sack him. So you've just got to, like you say, you just got to get behind whoever manager is in at the time. And because you support the club, not the manager himself. If you were a Mark Robbins fan, excuse me, if you were a Mark Robbins fan, then you'd go and support him and whatever team he managed. But you're not. You're a Coventry City fan, so naturally you support the team. You support the team regardless of who the manager is, and you just hope that he can turn the league form around. You didn't go to Wembley then, Ryan, or the playoff final. I watched them on TV. The semi-finals made me angry as we got screwed. That would have been best comeback ever in FA Cup. But it's one of them, yeah, the playoff final. I was down for a long time. I thought we were going to win, but one of them, I think we're going to go in the right direction. Excuse me, I keep coughing here. Yeah, well, at least he didn't go all the way to London and be disappointed, all them people that did. But it was a lottery, wasn't it, the shootout, and it was disappointing. I remember thinking you were going to win that game as well. I thought Coventry were going to win that one against Luton, but obviously wasn't to be. Luton obviously relegated and then not really doing much otherwise in the Championship this season. Now that they're struggling as well, and I know when they came to Leeds a few weeks ago, they were awful. So yeah, it's things come in fits and starts. Form comes and goes, doesn't it? So yeah, look, we'll wait and see how Coventry do and how Lampard does. But yeah, I'm sure you were down for a long time. It's a frustrating thing to be a part of. Obviously, we were there last season at Wembley, and I didn't go personally, but we lost again to Southampton, and I thought we'd win that game as well, but we just didn't show up, Ryan. We didn't show up in that game whatsoever. Southampton weren't much better, but they took their chance when it came along with Adam Armstrong. So what can you do? One game, and it's everything on the line for the whole season. What you've worked towards. I mean, we were. I mean, I was disappointed we didn't get top two, but it was an incredibly difficult season last time, wasn't it? So, that's it was an outlandish season, really, wasn't it? Where you get 90 points and you don't go up. It was crazy. But I think 90 points this time would see us home. And, I think we're pretty much on course for that at the moment. I don't know whether we're at this stage of the season, whether we're better off. I think we might be 1 or 2 points better off than we were. So, yeah. Now, there are a couple of people watching this. Ryan, I know you're one, but, maybe the other person watching, if you want to make yourself known, it would be excellent. Enjoy the chat, come into the chat and give us your thoughts on Brazilian football or anything else if you want. Obviously, we've been discussing Coventry. Here, you're 33, Ryan. Okay, cool. So we are a similar sort of age then. I'm a couple of years younger. So, yeah, you started supporting them when you were 12. So you were quite late into it then, really. Your dad took you to the games, and then I became a fan of them. I'm also a fan of Arsenal. I've always liked them. Thierry Henry I was a massive fan of him. Yeah, I mean, I'm a big fan of Thierry Henry, I must admit. And, I think if potentially I wasn't, obviously Leeds is my team, like yourself, my dad's a Leeds fan, and I think I just followed him in supporting Leeds, and but I think if potentially if I didn't choose Leeds, I was a big fan of Thierry Henry, and he was fabulous in that Arsenal side, wasn't he? 2004 invincible season, incredible, and beyond that as well, and before that. So yeah, I think he was an incredible player, actually. So he could have swung it for me, but he didn't. And I am a Leeds United fan through and through, and happy to be, of course. But Leeds, like Coventry do for you, Ryan, they put you through the ringer. Of course they do, but that's just the way football is. That's the way football works. So yeah. So we'll be having a look at the second half in a few minutes. I think we'll have a check and see what the situation is now. And the second half will be starting soon. So yes, we'll see. But so you're from Coventry then, Ryan? Are you, I guess? Yeah, I did. They were just a great football team to watch. Played football. They're fun to watch. Yeah, they're my second team and a fan of them, not supporter. As I think a supporter who goes to matches. I've never been to an Arsenal game, so not a supporter. Fair enough. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I've never been to an Arsenal game either, to be honest. But I have my own team. Obviously have my own team and everything. So, and I don't have I'll gladly follow, foreign teams like obviously Galo is my Brazilian side, but I won't generally follow any other English side. Leeds are my team, and that's it. I don't mind supporting other European or worldwide sides. Obviously, I'll probably never go to a Galo game, or I might do at one stage, but they're the team I picked. So you just like teams, you have various different reasons for supporting the teams you do, don't you? So, yeah, that's just the way football works, isn't it? You can enjoy football and enjoy the way a team plays and enjoy a certain player and the way he plays without supporting the team properly. So yeah, that's the way I see it. Leeds are my team, and sort of Garlo, I mean, other team, but I don't think I could ever really have two English sides. I know people, so like I said, are you from Coventry then, Ryan? Because I know a lot of people do have sort of local sides that they support. They have the team they support, and they have the local side they support. So do you support a local side as well, or is Coventry your local side and the one that you support fully? I'm interested to know about that situation. In the meantime, the second halves have started in the Brasileirão. So we're just a few minutes into the second half now. Each game, 49th minute, we are running through the scores. Again, it is Galo 0, PR 0. That is sending Atletico Paranense down as it stands. Bahia 1, GO 0. Fogo 1, Sao Paulo 0. The title is going to Rio as it stands with Botafogo, their first title in nearly 30 years. It's Cuiabá 1, Vasco 2. Flamengo 0, Vitória 1. Fortaleza 2 early goals from Mr. Vieira puts them 2-0 up over Inter. Grêmio 1, Corinthians 0. That Yuri Alberto late first half penalty. And then Juventude 0, Cruzeiro 1. Palmeiras 0, Fluminense 1. A result, if it would stand, that would see Fluminense all the way into 13th position. And the big one at the bottom is RB Bragantino 2, Criciúma 1. That is taking RB out of the relegation zone as things stand. So let's wait and see. I will keep you updated as the goals go in around the grounds. But Ryan, I would like to know about that situation. Are you a Coventry-born fella, or is there a local side you support as well, and that sort of thing? So let's wait and see. I thought we'd beat Southampton, Ryan. I thought we would. We just didn't turn up. They didn't turn up. I think your win title this year, I don't think this season the champ's strong to other years. There's some very bad teams in that league. There are some really poor sides in the Championship, you have to say. There are some really, really poor sides in there. Every single team at home that we've played, I would say, at Ellen Road, they try and stifle leads and come for a point. They just can't do it. And I must admit, some of the teams have been absolutely horrendous. I mean, Derby yesterday, awful. Barely had a shot on goal. I think they had one shot. It was from like 20-odd yards out, which went straight into Ilan Mellier's gloves. It was easy for him. So a lot of teams, when they come to Ellen Road, they just can't hack it. And the league is full of really poor sides, actually. Even the ones at the top, really. I mean, look at West Brom. I spoke about West Brom a bit earlier, drawing with Sheffield United. Sheffield United will be up there with us at the top, and I think it'll be a toss-up between us and them who wins the title. But West Brom have drawn so many games. It's absolutely incredible. And obviously they're outside the top six now by a couple of points, but they've drawn four in a row. And I think it's just incredible. I think 10 of the last 11 games have been draws, and the other one was a win. So they're unbeaten in 11 games, West Brom, but they've only won one, which is absolutely incredible, really, to think about that. Unbeaten in 11 games, but you've only won one. It's unbelievable. And some of the teams in this division are just really, really poor, really poor. And, you think the quality of it is nowhere near what it was last season, really. Who are our main rivals? What do you mean in the league this year, Ryan, or in the league generally? Who are the main rivals? They are expanding Ellen Road. So you are from Coventry. I support Coventry. I've been a few non-league games. Team in Midland combination league called Coventry. Right. Okay. So you're Coventry lad. I think, I don't know, it's difficult to say Leeds. I mean, everybody hates Leeds, don't they? When you come to Leeds, you want to win. Everybody ups the games against Leeds, don't they? And it's a difficult, I suppose it's a difficult team to like if you're from an opposition fan point. But Um, yeah, I don't know really. I mean, like I said, do you mean this season in terms of um, geography rivalry in terms of the table, or do you mean in terms of like historic? Because obviously, historic is Man United. Obviously, Leeds don't like Man U. Man U don't like Leeds, but I think it's only when we play them because obviously we're in the division below, so it doesn't really have that much of a holding weight really when they're in the league below, but. Those local rivalries, obviously the Yorkshire derbies are obviously quite tasty a lot of the time. But I don't know really. Maybe any Yorkshire side, Chef Wednesday seems to have quite a little bit of a rivalry, a bit of a needle when we play them. But I don't know really. I mean, what about Coventry? I mean, who are Coventry's biggest rivals? I mean, I don't know. Is it Leicester or I don't know who's their kind of rival game? I guess it's Leicester, isn't it? Is it? But yeah, let's have a check on the Serie A anyway, because that's what we're here for. And there has been a big goal, well, a big-ish goal in the Brazil round. Now, Palmeiras are level with Fluminense. They still need things to turn around drastically, but they are back level in this game. We're just awaiting to see who scored that goal. So in the meantime, Coventry United, their local and non-league team. I've been to some games, non-league games. They're good alternative to go to. If Cov, Anton, who your nearest non-league team, but yeah, non-league football fun. Yeah, you enjoy non-league football then, yeah? I think a lot of people do really, Ryan. I think like I said, it's a good alternative. Say Coventry are playing away or something, or for whatever reason you can't go to the Coventry. Again, Coventry United, you could go there. Non-league football, cheaper prices, and it's wholesome football, isn't it? You know what I mean? It's big blokes knocking the living daylights out of each other, and the quality is probably not there, but it's good fun and and all that. And you do get some diehard fans at those games as well. Actually, you do. So, yeah, it's interesting to see that sort of level of football. In terms of what's the local non-league side closest to me, there aren't really any, if I'm being honest off the top of my head. The local, the one that's closest is... which is non-league, but it's a more higher level than probably like say Coventry United are playing. Is Halifax Town, and Halifax Town are in the Conference League, I think, aren't they? So I think they're doing quite well in the Conference League and the National League. Oh no, well the mid-table in the National League. So yeah, I mean that's the closest. That's the closest to me. What would be the in terms of non-league, which is non-league, but it's quite a high end of non-league, of course, in what the fifth tier of English football. I imagine what Coventry United. I don't know. I don't know what division they're in, but there isn't any sort of really lower league sides around here, to be honest, which is a shame because it's an alternative to expensive football in the Championship. Is kind of expensive football, isn't it? So, it's annoyingly expensive, particularly at Leeds. I mean, I know any opposition fans do really lament going to Leeds as an away fan because it's such expensive. Now we talked about the Palmeiras goal. It has been chalked up, I think. So that is no more. Fluminense still lead that game by 1-0. But there has been other goals in the games going around Brazil. Now we go to RB Bragantino. There has been a goal there. Is it Kajuma? Are they 2 apiece? No, it is probably done and dusted. RB Bragantino 3-1 up now against Kajuma. And it is that man we spoke about earlier. We spoke about on the pod last week. He did get our player of the round. It's Mr. Eduardo Sasha, who scored 4 goals in his last 3. They found form in the last 2 games. of the last 3 games, really, that would be ending the season unbeaten in 3 if they can hold on to this. Now it's a 3-1 lead given to them by Eduardo Sasha. Jonathan was the assist maker, who I think he did assist Sasha on the last game, the win over PR as well. So they are 3-1 to the good now, and it's looking very good for RB, very bad for PR, who still are locked at 0-0 with Galo. Other goals to speak about around Brazil as well. Fortaleza had taken Inter to the cleaners, 3-0 up now. Tinga with the latest goal, the centre-back, veteran centre-back, Tinga, only his 3rd goal of the season. He's been at Fortaleza for a long period of time now, 300-odd appearances for Tinga, and that's his 3rd goal of the season. Surely now puts Fortaleza into those automatic Libertadores qualification places. 3-0 to the good against Inter. Flamengo 2, Rio de Janeiro, and it is potentially his final act for Flamengo. Mr. Gabigol, Gabriel Barbosa Ryan is joining you at Cruzeiro next season. 1 apiece. He has got a goal. It's 1 apiece now with Vitória in Rio. 1 apiece. They are now currently in 3rd position, Flamengo, 3 points off second, Palmeiras. Alejandro gave Vitória the lead, but Barbosa, Gabigol, has roared back in the second half to get them on level terms. Also, another goal in the game in Bahia. Mr. Rodriguez, Luciano Rodriguez, James will be happy. He has scored a penalty kick for Bahia against already relegated GO. They are now 2 to the good in that one. So goals going in across the country here in Brazil. And let's see what happens. PR looking likely to go down now. We will give you a quick roundup of all the results. So it is Galo, well, the live score, should I say. It's Galo 0, PR 0. That is sending PR down to Serie B currently. Bahia 2, GO 0. Fogo 1, Sao Paulo 0. The title is coming to that part of Rio de Janeiro this evening. Cuiabá 1, Vasco 2. Flamengo 1, Vitória 1. Fortaleza 3, Inter 0. Grêmio 0, Corinthians 1. Juventude 0, Cruzeiro 1. Palmeiras 0, Fluminense 1. And RB Bragantino 3, Criciúma 1. Crucially finding form right at the very last. Now, Ryan, let's hear what you have to say here. Yeah, we played Derby. They were dreadful when we played them. No, I mean historic and local derbies. Ours is Leicester and Villa. Between fans always fight each other. 2 hooligan groups, they fight. Yeah, Derby. I mean, Derby are really struggling out the Rhine, you've got to say. And yesterday, when they came to Ellen Road, yeah, really, really poor. I mean, they beat you, didn't they, at the Rico? Actually, not too long ago, early part of November. I think that's the only game they've actually. That's the only away game they've won. So away from home, they're absolutely atrocious. Next time you play them, it's a Frank Lampard derby, isn't it? That's the back end of the season by the look of it. March time by the look of it, yeah. Historically, I suppose it's Man United, really. I think historically Man United is quite a grudge game between Leeds and them. I think it's really something to do with the geography of them. Obviously, Yorkshire against Lancashire and this sort of thing. Like, yeah, hooligans always, people fighting. What do you think to hooliganism in football? I think it's silly and some of them ain't fans. They just like fighting. I don't like Millwall personally. They try thumping attackers, threw bottles at us. I don't agree with hooliganism at all in football. I think think you're bang on, Ryan, with it. People like that way inclined, they don't go for the football. They just go for the they just go for the fight, don't they? They go for the fighting, and that's all it is. That's literally what they go for all the time. So yeah, it's not what it's not something that I would go to football for at all. And yes, you've been to Millwall. No, Millwall are very notorious. Obviously, there might have been a bit of trouble for Cov fans there yesterday. I don't know. But have you been in the past? Is that an experience you're talking about in a past experience going down to the Den? I know it's not a very desirable place to go. And so, the fans there are quite ruthless, I think. And again, Millwall is a big one for Leeds as well. Historically, I think with the hooliganism as well, that was always a bit of a grudge thing, and a lot of people would go for fighting and not for football. So, that's that's just the way it is, isn't it? I don't know how much they will get, actually, Ryan. I don't know how. I know the thing is with Fogo, like it's been very expensively assembled, their squad, hasn't it? With John Textor, he's got a lot of money. He's pumped it into their squad, hasn't he? So it's no surprise really that they're up there. Actually, is it? You've got to say. But I don't know that. I don't know how much they got for the Lib win last Saturday either. But I'm sure it was a lot of money, and he will have been able to line his pockets, definitely. But as it stands here, there's only one game in the final match day of the Brasileirão season that is ending goalless as it stands, and that is Galo against PR. And like I've said a few minutes ago, PR are down if they don't get anything now. Because I don't think RB Bragantino are going to surrender that 2-goal lead, that 3-1 scoreline over a relegated side, Consumer. PR have to do it now. They have to do it now. And if they do score, that puts RB back into the relegation zone. So yeah, and Galo have to be really, really careful as well. It's hanging on a thread. This now. Oh, a goal in Rio. Botafogo pegged back by Sao Paulo, and that will be music to the ears of those across the city of Sao Paulo. In Palmeiras, of course, Sao Paulo playing away in Fogo in Rio. Now Palmeiras will be rejoicing the fact that Sao Paulo have got themselves level. We're just waiting to see who scored that leveler, but it is Fogo 1, Sao Paulo 1 currently. Let's wait and see if anything else comes of this now. And let's see if Sao Paulo can upset the party as well. Yeah, let's see what happens in the coming minutes as the games start to dwindle into the last kind of 20 minutes now. And I will give you a rundown in a few minutes of the scores, but it is William Gomez who has scored the goal to level. The young man, the 18-year-old, he has scored already in the Brasileirão. We did speak about him, I think, on the pod recently. Potentially might have even got a Young Player of the Round award when he scored a winner against Cruzeiro in September. An important goal in the title race, potentially, from William Gomez. Not in Sao Paulo's season. They cannot breach into it in fifth position. They are staying where they are, regardless of any result today, in sixth position, where they have been for some time. But it is one apiece. And as it stands, with Palmeiras losing, Botafogo still win the title by 4 points. So there's a lot that needs to change in the next sort of 20 minutes or so if the title is going to go to Sao Paulo and to Palmeiras. But let's just wait and see how these how these sort of last 20 minutes or so pan out. Ryan, yeah, they did. They only beat us because we were awful. Yeah, I think, yeah, it was an own goal, wasn't it, that eventually won the game. You get emotional for that match. To be honest, I seen us play Sheffield United. I didn't think they were that good. Hamer made both their goals. Yeah, Hamer, Gustavo Hamer, we tried getting him in the summer if reports are to be believed. Obviously, they didn't want to sell to us because we were direct rivals, which is completely understandable, obviously. But yeah, he's a good player. Again, we played Sheffield United. We beat them at Ellen Road. I wasn't very impressed with them either. And Burnley don't really impress me either. I think it's anybody's for the taking now. Ryan, really is the championship in terms of those three. I think that those three are definitely the best teams in the league. It's depending on who can just beat who, maybe. Who can? I mean, I know we lost early doors to Burnley. That's the only game at Ellen Road we've lost this season, which was very frustrating. I didn't think they played well on the day either, but they got the win. Sometimes that's what you've got to do, isn't it? There's been another goal as well in the Brazilians. RB Bragantino are running absolutely wild. There'll be a party there tonight. They have hit Krishima for number 4, scored by Henry Mosquera, the defender. The young lad. Oh no, he's come off the bench. I think I can't see actually where this man is on. Sorry, he's a sub. Yeah, he's a sub here. Mosquera. He scored, 23-year-old Colombian fella, and he gets another goal. Colombian international recently in the Colombian side, I think. Last end of last year, to be fair. That's his third goal of the season, and they're running riot now. They are running riot, and he's only just come on really a few minutes ago. Only his second goal of the season, so attacking wide man. 4-1, Seabra will be absolutely delighted. Only his second win as RB boss, and Red Bull will be absolutely delighted as well. I'm sure Red Bull will be having a few Red Bulls tonight, won't they, in celebration? I'm absolutely sure of that. Probably something a little bit stronger as well in Bragantino, I would have said. Will you still do episodes in the off-season or have a few months break? I think I haven't really spoke about it too much yet. I think what we'll do, Ryan, is we'll do the pod, I think, on maybe tomorrow. I think we're going to do the pod tomorrow, round up all the final match day and everything. And then I think we're going to do like an awards show, and then I think we might do like a season by season, a team by team, rating how all the teams did in the season, team by team, a little bit like we did with the mid-season kind of thing. I think we'll do like a final season report sort of thing on how we have a quick discussion about each team and how we thought they did. And then I think we'll probably have a break for a couple of months maybe, because it doesn't start again till February, till April time. So I think past them couple of episodes, which we're probably going to have to wrap up quickly before Christmas. When it gets to Christmas, obviously we'll have a break, and then I think maybe obviously it's all done in pencil at the moment, but we have to firm it up. But I think we'll probably have a couple of months break, maybe 6 weeks or so, to maybe about February time, and maybe kick on, do the early season predictions and look at the newly promoted sides and all that in the lead up to the kickoff in April. So yeah, we'll probably have a few weeks off it and then start again in the new year, I guess. Yeah, I've not been impressed with any other team in the Championship at Open League. I think best teams we played so far, you guys and Burnley. Yeah, this is what I mean. I think the difference between the teams at the top is very small, really. And on the day, anybody can beat anybody. And we'll have to come back to that in a minute, actually, Ryan, because there's been a big goal which might just see Atletico Paranaense relegated. My team, the boys, Garlo, with a goal up against PR, 1-0. The man Rubens with the goal. It looks like Hulk has missed a penalty. Maybe Rubens put it in from the rebound. Who knows at this stage? But the headline is Garlo 1-0 up over Atletico Paranaense. That might just be the nail in the coffin for PR to go down 2 points behind Bragantino currently, who, like we said a few minutes ago, are 4-1 up at Bragantino against Criciúma, at home to Criciúma. And that's a massive goal from Rubens, and it would end a massive run of games without a win for Gala. We know they sacked Gabriel Milito a few days ago, so they are looking for a permanent manager. It is no longer Gabriel Milito. He was relieved of his duties after Galo lost to Vasco a few days ago. Now they have stepped up to secure their safety. Really, they wasn't at kickoff. They weren't safe, completely safe. Looking likely they might do now into 12th position as it currently stands. And as we know, PR on the brink. Luciano Gonzalez, his team on the brink of relegation to Serie B. It would be a massive story in Brazil if this was to come and be the case. There are a couple more goals to talk about also. Already relegated Cuiabá are falling further behind to Vasco. 3-1 now in Cuiabá with only 15 to go there. You would say that concludes their miserable season in Serie A. Maybe they can have a better one in the second division next time. The latest goal scorer is Paulinho with only his second goal of the season in only his second game of the season. I'm not sure if he had a long layoff injury or not, but he only came back with a 1 minute appearance against Galo the other day. So it's he's getting in on the goals already. And there is another goal as well in Rio. Flamengo now 2-1 down to Vitória. Vitória's marvellous end to the season goes on into 11th as it stands. Jadison with the goal coming off the bench in the second half to get a goal, only his fourth of the season. But Thiago Carpini has to be amongst the men in for their manager of the year conversations. He has to be. Now that goal we just spoke about, Paulinho, I think it was. It was chalked off, so it remains Cuiabá 1, Vasco 2. I don't know what happened there with that goal, but there you go. You think Man City will lose or win their lawsuit? 115 charges. I think they lose. Be interesting. See what happens. I think if guilty, throw them in the conference, like what happened to Rangers as they cheat to win all the trophies. Yeah, I mean, I don't know, Ryan. I mean, I stay away from Man City. Really, it's just a team I don't. Yeah, it's from my point of view, I've quite enjoyed their plight a little bit over the last few weeks. I know they've won against Forest, but they've drawn now with Palace, and yeah, it's cheat to win. They're basically above the law, aren't they? At this point, it's crazy, to be honest with you. It's quite amazing. what they feel they can get away with. And they have got away with it so far because they can just pay people off and keep paying people off until the cows come home. So I think they will win it because I think people will just be paid off and it will be brushed under the carpet. So that's it. I just think, it's a real shame because nobody can really touch them. But maybe something is going on in the background that we don't really know what's going on, because that might be what's contributing to their poor form at the moment. I think they've only won one game in. I think they won one game in something like 9 matches or something like that. It's an amazing run. Yeah, one win in 9 in all competitions, 2 wins in 10 in all competitions, which is absolutely incredible for Man City and their, the form that they've been on of recent times, isn't it? So, yeah, quite incredible, really. But that's the way it goes sometimes, isn't it? For Man City, and welcome to the rest of the football world, Man City, with how everybody else feels. We all go through these bad spells. Man City don't seem to, do they? But anyway, it's another goal, Ryan, in Rio, and Flamengo weren't behind for long. 6 minutes it took them to get back onto level terms, and it's the fullback, Mr. Ayrton Lucas, who has got the goal, got Felipe Luis's men back on level terms at home to Vitoria. It's a hotly contested game for a final game. That one, it doesn't look like there is that much riding on it, but clearly the fans, the players still want to give their all, and RB Bragantino are going at it even more. It is 5 now for them against Krachuma. 5-1. We're just awaiting confirmation of that one, but 5-1, and they have well and truly secured their safety in Serie A next season. It's looking bleaker and bleaker for Atletico PR now. They look likely to be playing Serie B football next season. What a crushing blow for Luciano Gonzalez and his men, and it all really went wrong for me, for PR, when Kuka left all those months ago. They couldn't really get any run of form. They've been on horrendous form of recent times. Only recently picked up with a string of 4 games without defeat, but now 2 very, very costly defeats by the look of it, and they look like they're going to be playing Serie B football next season. It was Jonathan who's had a good game here. Might be in line for mine and James's Player of the Round award here, potentially. Jonathan, young fella, 22-year-old. He's got the goal. He's got the 5th goal, and they are absolutely running Krachuma to the ground here. Unbelievable stuff. Really. Fabulous drama in the Brazil around the last game of the season. Ryan, what you're saying, what's your favourite football podcast to listen to and reason I kept interested in Reston's football? Shearer, Richards, Lineker, they have good chemistry together, funny, and like hearing their opinions on footy. Yeah. Well, that's as good as reason as any, isn't it, to like the football and everything like that, and like the podcast. They know what they're talking about. They have a laugh. And they're a good set of lads, aren't they, really, as well? And I noticed your message from earlier on about who are my favourite pundits. To be fair, I don't really have any, actually. I don't really listen to it too much, to be honest with you. I don't mind Keane. I think Keane's quite dry, isn't he? He's got a bit of a dry sense of humour, and I think the ego always goes down quite well. But other than that, I'm not really sure. Yeah, it's a bit of a difficult one, but yeah. I mean, what are your thoughts, Ryan? That time that Lineker got a bit of a ban, didn't he, on MOTD? And what did you think of him just playing the highlights back to back? What did you think about that? Because I thought it was actually quite refreshing in a sense. He didn't get all the drivel of he said this, he said that, his opinion on this, even though that's, again, what we watch football for. And this is what I'm doing here on this evening, isn't it, as well, and what we do on the podcast in general. So what are your opinions on that? Did you find it entertaining, or do you like the opinions of the pundits and things like that? And in terms of podcasts, again, I've listened to the odd one or two from different leagues. There was a Portuguese one that I listened to occasionally, but not for some time. I can't remember the name of it, actually. And I've actually listened to J League one as well, one of in the Japanese league, which is quite interesting. But I have kind of fallen off it a little bit as well. And a couple of red cards in the game against Gremio and Corinthians, which is 1-0 currently to Corinthians. They're heading for an 8th straight league win. 2 in the same, I assume it's the same incident. Dodi for Gremio, the centre midfield player, and then the substitute for Corinthians, Jose Martinez, the midfielder. Again, maybe it's a scuffle in the middle of the park, who knows. Both have had their marching orders. Martinez came on at half-time. He only lasted like half an hour or so, and he's off the pitch. And both teams down to 10 men. That game isn't really worth too much. Gremio dropping out of the Sudamericana qualification with the defeat currently, and Corinthians in for the Libertadores positions as well in 7th position currently. Bahia behind them, 3 points behind, currently 2-0 up on GO. They're getting the last Libertadores position as it stands. Within the last few minutes, we're in touching distance now of the final game of the season in Serie A. Botafogo look likely to claim the title here. Palmeiras 4 points as it is currently behind at home to Fluminense, who have come up and ending up the season in 13th position. Bottom in the relegation zone is Atletico PR. Atletico Paranaense looks set to play Serie B football unless something absolutely drastic happens in the 3 minutes plus added time which remain in these games. Ryan, hey, do you get annoyed when people call football soccer and get football more kicked in our sport than American football? Football's growing in US now, seems. Yeah, I mean, that's it, isn't it? I mean, I don't know. It doesn't annoy me too much, actually, to be fair. I know America, he's getting bigger. They get, always getting Lionel Messi into the MLS. That was always going to get more people involved in America, in soccer in America. We got Luis Suarez there at Inter Miami as well, which has brought a lot of people in, a lot of celebrities, which then people, the common person then starts to think, right, I'll get into it and stuff as well. It doesn't annoy me, people calling it soccer. That's just what they call it. I mean, at Leeds, we had Jesse Marsh for a long period of time. People really didn't take to him. I didn't mind him at all, but people really didn't take to him. And he was obviously American with his Americanisms and calling things soccer and stuff like this. And people didn't generally take too kindly to it. But me personally, I don't really mind. I know it doesn't matter to me. American football is massive, isn't it? So we've got to call it something else, don't they as well? I do have a Leeds podcast that I do myself. It's called The Bearded Peacock, Ryan. So go on out, check that out if you want to. Yeah, The Bearded Peacock. I do reviews, previews of the games. I'll try and get a preview out for the Middlesbrough game tomorrow if I can, because that's happening on Tuesday evening. I'm actually going to that one, so I'm looking forward to that one. But yeah, that's what my Leeds podcast is called, The Bearded Peacock. And thank you. It is reminds me of the final score, but Brazil scores. That's high praise indeed, because it's not as polished as the final score, but there you go. It is that. This is sort of the vibe I'm trying to go for. You know what I mean? But we'll wait. We'll wait and see. In RB, in Bragantino, Kachuma have one back. It's 5-2. It's a goal fest in Bragantino this evening as Bragg are celebrating surely now another season in Serie A. 5-2. It is now. We're just awaiting the Kachuma goal scorer, and also 2-0 in Rio Grande do Sul. Gremio 2-0 down now. We're awaiting the goal scorer for Corinthians, but that puts the seal on Corinthians now on their season 8 in a row. That's fantastic. Both teams down to 10 men they were. Now it seems like Corinthians are putting daylight between themselves and Gremio. Although I said about that Kachuma goal, it has been chalked off. Again, I'm not sure what's happened there, but it does remain 5-1 instead of 5-2. And the Corinthians goal isn't showing up either. So that may very well be chalked off as well. And it may be still just the one goal they lead Gremio by. But let's wait and see. All the games now are in the 90th minute. So we're looking likely that it is going to be Botafogo's title and PR's commiserations. They'll be crying there tonight. They're going to be relegated to Serie B for the first time in 12 years. Was the last time they played second division football. They came immediately straight back up in 2013 to finish in third position in the Brasileirão. Now they are going to taste second division football for the first time in 12 years. Crazy stuff. But it is 2-0 in Gremio. We're just waiting to see who got that second goal for Corinthians. But to run through the scores just before the final scores come in, it is Gala 1, PR 0, Bahia 2, Gio 0, Fogo 1, Sao Paulo 1, Cuiabá 1, Vasco 2, Flamengo 2, Vitória 2, Fortaleza 3, Inter 0, Gremio 0, Corinthians 2, Juventude 0, Cruzeiro 1, Palmeiras 0, Fluminense 1, RB Bragantino 5, Kachuma 1. So there's the latest scores and potentially full-time scores. There is a full-time score now. Fortaleza 3, Inter 0. So Fortaleza get the fourth position, straight qualification to the Libertadores for next season. A fabulous season for Pablo Voivoda ends with a fantastic 3-0 home win over Inter. And we await the other full-time scores coming in. I will give you them as they come in and then round them all up and round the table. And we're not close now. Sorry, we're close now to finishing this monster stream. It's been going on for 2 hours and 14 minutes. I will need to lie down after this. I will need to lie down after all the commotion and excitement of the final day of the Brasileirão season. Now we're heading for more red cards in the games here now. Juventude down to 10 men on the pitch. Mr. Alan Rochelle has been sent off also for a second bookable offence. Mateus Pereira also given his marching orders by the referee as well. So they're both down to 10 men in the final stages of that game. And it's all over in Bragantino. They have saved themselves from relegation. 5-1 winners. They saved the best till last. A 5-1 demolition of already relegated Kachuma. 5-1. Massive result. Big congratulations to Seabra there. Pulled up with 2 late wins to salvage 7 points from 3 games. fair play to them. They've come up with it when it really mattered. And 5-1 winners, done it in absolute style there this evening. And they have saved themselves from relegation. I think you say, Ryan, I think it was the Square Ball Leeds United podcast. I only listened to a few eps. I also listened to an Arsenal podcast. It's called The Only Way is Arsenal. It's good. I might try a few other Arsenal pods. Yeah, the Square Ball. I know the Square Ball. It's massive. Everybody in Leeds United Persuasion, they know of the Square Ball. It's the longest running pod and sort of fanzine. It's the longest running thing. It's a massive following. You know, the good lads over there doing it full time as well. So they've got a big following. You know, and it's always a bit tongue in cheek as well. They don't take things altogether too seriously over there. So it's you know, that's always good to see as well. So, you know, you can't be too serious when you're doing these sort of things. So, yeah. Oh, wow. And a goal as well. Fogo, it is finished. It's finished. We're waiting. Who scored the final goal? It is 2-1. They have won. They have sealed the Brazilian title with a 2-1 win. A late winner has gone in injury time to win the game 2-1 over Sao Paulo. They are champions of Brazil this time round. It's been a marathon of a season. And Fogo have come out on top today against Sao Paulo, but come out on top in the whole season. It is finished now in Rio de Janeiro. There is another goal to speak about in the game between Grêmio and Corinthians. It is now 3-0 to Corinthians. 2 goals in quick succession. Charles, in the 88th minute, put Corinthians 2-0 up. And now it's that man, Memphis Depay, getting another goal. Another goal. That is his third in 2 games to put the seal on a fantastic run of games for Corinthians to end the season with 8 straight wins, a 3-0 win over 10-men Grêmio tonight. 10 men they had themselves after Mr. Jose Andres Martinez was sent off 11 minutes from time. But they are now 3-0 winners. It has finished at in Grêmio, in Rio Grande do Sul, the Arena de Grêmio. It is 3-0 to Corinthians. And the full-time results are coming in now. Not all of them have finished, but many of them have. Cuiabá have been beaten at home 2-1 by Vasco. Flamengo have drawn 2 apiece with Vitória. Fortaleza, like we spoke about, sealed 4th position with a 3-0 win over Inter. Grêmio 0, Corinthians 3. It's ended. Also, RB Bragantino sealing Serie A football next year with a 5-1 demolition of already relegated Criciúma. I will bring you the final results, in a second when they all come in. You and your co-host like final score. That'd be entertaining. It was funny when at first you couldn't pronounce the Brazilian team names or players, lol, before you choose to do the Brazilian podcast. Was there? Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we've learned a lot over the kind of year that we've been doing it. Like I said, it's coming up to a year that we've been doing it now. Early part of this year, we put the first episode out. So we have learned a lot, Ryan, since we've been doing it, and we've learned how to pronounce names, how to do things a little bit better. So it's all a learning curve, and next season we'll refine it even more to go again in next year and try and make it even better, even more entertaining for people, getting more people listening and all sorts of stuff. So was there another league you both considered covering? I'm not sure really. I think we've obviously I've got my Leeds pod, and I do another Leeds pod as well. I do 2 talking Leeds with my mate Aaron as well. I think we've kind of got his hands full a little bit. I mean, maybe in the future, who knows? I mean, we're both football fanatics, really. So who knows what if we can hone in on another league itself. But I think there's something to be said about being a sort of an expert. I put the the commas in there because we're not experts. But, if we're doing it for a long period of time and you're focusing on one league, I think you're always going to know a lot more about it, and you'll become more and more knowledgeable naturally about it because you will be putting all your energy on most of it into that league. But I'm always interested in doing other podcasts as well, and looking at other leagues as well would be very interesting. The only thing we're missing is a rock theme. I mean, I do have it, but I mean, I could try and put it on for the final table if you like, Ryan. So I'll try and sort that out for you towards the end of this, which won't be long. To be fair, the games are coming in now. The results are coming in, and I think that is all full time now. Let's just wait and let's just see. We are just waiting on the Juventude game, but I think it is pretty much done and dusted. So we will run down them in a few minutes. And that goal Sasha scored last minute against PR a few days ago, that has saved them and given them the confidence to go 5-1 winners tonight. What a big goal that was. Lovely goal as well, lifted goal as well. What a goal it was. It's essentially sent PR down to Serie B. Obviously, tonight's results have a bearing on that as well. But it's unbelievable that, unbelievable stuff, really, what's happened there. And Sasha has come up with I think 4 goals in the last 3 games. Unbelievable contribution to keep his team in the Brazil round next year. You guys doing a pod in a few days to talk about final table of Brazil League and top scorers in the league. Yeah, we'll be probably rounding up. We'll be doing it tomorrow, Ryan, I think. So it'll be on Monday evening and Tuesday. You'll be able to find find the last episode of the season, and then we're going to, like I said, we're going to do like awards. I think we're going to probably dedicate a show to an awards, and then I think, like I said, we're going to do a team by team kind of report card because I think that's what we're probably looking at doing as well, which we did sort of mid-season as well. So we're just waiting on the Juventude game here to finish, but it's 1-0 and it's finished. So all the games are finished. So we'll round up the full-time scores for you. Then I'll round up the table. Congratulate Botafogo, and then that will be me. We've been on for nearly 2.5 hours. It's been a long stream, this. Final scores: Angara 1, relegated Atletico Paranaense 0, Bahia 2, Gio 0. Fogo winners of the league 2-1 on the night against Sao Paulo. Congratulations to them. A first Brazil win in nearly 30 years. Cuiabá 1, Vasco 2. Ended 2 apiece in Rio. Flamengo 2, Vitória 2. Fortaleza 3, Inter 0. 10-man Grêmio 0. 10-man Corinthians 3. 9-men Juventude 0. Corinthians 1, who finished the game with 10 men as well. Palmeiras ended their season with a 1-0 home defeat against Fluminense. I do think maybe Abel Ferreira might have been his last game in charge of Palmeiras, but let's wait and see. And obviously that one right at the bottom of the league, RB Bragantino saving themselves with an absolutely massive win over Criciúma, already relegated Criciúma. 5-1 it finished. So the league ends like this. And Ryan, because you asked, I will put on the rock theme. Just bear with me as the theme music plays. If I can get it, if I can't, you'll have to forgive me. But here we go. So the table is as finished. Botafogo, the winners, on 79 points. Congratulations to them. In second position is Palmeiras on 73. Third is Flamengo on 70. Fourth, Fortaleza on 68. Fifth is Inter on 65. Sixth is Sao Paulo on 59. Seventh is Corinthians on 56. Eighth is Bahia on 53. Ninth, Cruzeiro on 52. Vasco 10th on 50. Vitória 11th on 47. 12th position, Gallo, also on 47. 13th, Flu on 46. 14th, Cremio on 45. 15th, Juventude on 45. 16th, and saving themselves at the very last, RB Bragantino on 44. Relegated then, PR on 42 points. 18th is Kachuma on 38. 19th is GO on 30 points. And bottom of the pile, finishing last place, is Cuiabá on 30 points. And that finishes the season. That finishes the table for the final time. We will be back with the podcast either tomorrow or Tuesday. I think it'll be tomorrow night. Might be hitting your ears on Tuesday morning or Monday evening. But we will round up me and James on the pod tomorrow. Thank you very much for watching and listening. Ryan, thank you very much for interacting with me the whole time, and your sort of comments and things have kept me from going insane in a bit and kind of talking to myself. So thanks a lot for listening and watching. I do watch Mark Goldbridge occasionally. It's funny to watch, particularly when Man United lose. But there you go. Thank you very much. We'll be back with a normal podcast tomorrow. Thanks a lot. Have a good evening and a deuce.